Do a spray example of this, but I'm going to show you guys common dry spots and how to correct them while you're spraying. I ended up getting a dry spot right here, but I knew I wasn't really worried about it that much because I'm actually going to flow coat this car with another coat of clear, or they call it flow coat. I call it flow coat because everybody else calls it that, but really I'm just going to sand it down and respray it with another coat of clear because I want it to be really smooth when I go color sand and buff it, which that's pretty darn smooth, but the sides, I didn't get quite as much. Plus, the other idea of that is it prevents shrinkage. So in maybe 3 or 4 weeks, you'll see, it shrink down. You might see a little bit of mapping going on where you did some work or something like that. And when you do that second coat of clear like this, it comes out a lot nicer and it lasts a lot longer as far as shrinkage. So when you're spraying right here, like I was coming down this panel this way, I'm just using my hand as the spray. I was coming down this panel this way. What you have to do to get like an angle like this is if you spray like this, you're going to have a fat run right here because you're going to have your spray edge will be like this. So what you have to do is you have to turn your gun at an angle and just whip across here real fast. So a lot of guys will do this by using another gun. They'll use a detail gun, and they'll trying to prevent that heavy spot. And one of these things on these old Mustangs, I remember back in the old days of spraying these, is you'd puddle up here trying to do that, and you'd get a little sag right here, and I didn't. But I didn't on the other side. I'll show you the other side real quick. And this side, I definitely, when you spray this, there's absolutely no orange peel right here. So what I did on this, I did it on this side, but I forgot to on the other. And it's one of those things that if you don't do it, it's really hard to color sand and buff right here. So it's a lot easier to catch that, when you're going. So when you're spraying your angles and stuff like that, the trick is not shoot straight at it, but 45 or even 90 degree and go really fast, because if you go really slow going this direction, you will have a giant fat run. So it's just that's how you work your wide fan to do it. A lot of guys will, like I said, they'll take a detailed gun with a narrow fan and they'll just shoot it this direction. But too much spray on this edge will make it want to run right in this corner too. So those are a couple little pointers on spraying clear or spraying, anything, and might help you guys do a little bit better job when you're trying to do yours if you're new at it. You guys who have been doing this a while probably know most of this stuff. The same thing's on this angle here. When you're spraying here and you're spraying this under edge, a lot of times where you get your run is when it comes down right here on this, and you'll have this under edge, and because it's going down. So when you spray, if you turn your gun not totally 45 but just a little bit and whip across here, what it does is it gets that spray nice and heavy here, because at the top edge of your fan and the bottom edge of your fan, there's a lighter spray than there is in the middle. So if you're thinking it's just going to cover, that's why they have you overlap, 3/4 overlap or 75% overlap when you're doing clear and 50% overlap when you're doing base or whatever, is because the top edge and the bottom of the edge of the fan are lighter than what's in the middle. It's just slightly different. Some people are going to disagree with me. I don't care, because that's fine. They can disagree, because I've been doing this a long time and I know exactly what I'm talking about. So in the middle of your fan, there's always a little bit heavier area, and that's why you have to overlap. That's the whole reason for it. So, and it doesn't matter whether you're spraying houses, you're spraying cars, you're spraying buildings, you're spraying, everything is the same as far as that goes with spraying. So anyway, just a couple little pointers. If you're spraying a lot of angles, like the new cars, they don't usually have this type of thing. So some of you guys spraying your old cars are having difficulty. Maybe you're getting runs right here. And that's how you do it, is to turn at a 45. Now, I didn't hit this car that heavy because so the sides have a little bit of orange peel, not much, but just a tiny bit, because I didn't because I knew I was going to flow coat this car, and I didn't really want to have to sand out runs. Now in the final coat, I'm going to go a little bit wetter, and I'm going to try and do it without getting any orange peel or very little. This will sand out just like nothing anyway, but on this dark of a color, I want to try and not have to sand and buff these corners. They're too hard to do. Okay, so anyway, I did get one right here though, and it was because of that very reason I didn't 45 it when I went through there. Anyway, that's a couple little tricks for you guys. And this edge too, when it's a lip like that, like a Mustang, you're painting an edge like this, you got to turn your gun sideways and spray this direction just a little bit so that you get a nice, the middle of your fan does its job and goes through the middle, and you don't dig this fan edge in here, and this one here will actually blow off, but that's okay. You know, so that you don't have a run there. You can actually probably spray this one this way, but you're still going to get a little bit of bounce problem. You're going to have some orange peel if you don't 45 it like that. Same thing I did here on the hood. When it went across here, 45 across here, and then turn straight and go back. So those are little techniques you'll use. Like if you watch the Gunman, some of those guys spraying all day. Watch what they're doing. That kind of gives you, now I'm telling you what they're doing so that you can learn how to watch it and do it for yourself. All right, so I'll talk to you guys in the next video.